This video, we are going to solve applications involving proportions. This problem here is going to be like one from 6.3, number 43. So a proportion is written in the form of A is to B as C is to D, or A is to B as C is to D, like that. And we solve it by multiplying these parts here and these parts here, or we say cross multiply when it's written in this fraction form. And the phrase to remember here is the product of the means, which are these two numbers in the middle here, BC, is equal to the product of the extremes, which are the things on the outside, AD. So when it's written in this form right here, this is where we get this phrase from. The product of the means, B times C, is equal to the product of the extremes, A times D. So we get this AD is equal to BC. Leave that over there for you to look at while I work the problem through. So the water rate for the city of North Carolina is $1.38 per, there's my fraction, 742 gallons of water. And we're going to set up a proportion here. It says, what is the water bill if a resident of that city uses 20,000 gallons? So we're going to put 20,000 gallons of water where the gallons of water are. And we're going to put our unknown in the top here. And we're going to say that 138 times 20,000 gallons is equal to, and I'm just going to deal with the numbers, 742x. And we're going to end up with an answer that's going to be in dollars and cents when we're done. So 1.38 times 20,000 is 27,600 is equal to 742x. Divide by 742, and we get x equals about $37.20. Round to the nearest cent as needed. So they would charge the customer $37.20 for that water bill. This is for part A. For part B, if the water bill is not to exceed $120, the customer can use a maximum of how many gallons of water? So we're going to have 138 over 742, and we're going to put $120 up here and X down there to figure out how many gallons of water they can use. And we're going to say 1.38x equals, what's 120 times 742? That is 89040. And we are going to divide both sides now by 1.38. and we get round down to the nearest integer is needed. So I get 64,521.73913 in my calculator. I need to round down to 64,521 because I can't go over that, or I'll go over my $120 budget. They're going to charge me per any part of a gallon that I use over that. So if I use more than 64,521 gallons, they're going to charge me for 64,522 gallons. Most likely is how it's going to work. So that's why we round it down to the nearest integer there. Okay, that is it for this video on proportions. Remember, we only ever cross multiply when we have an equal sign between two fractions. And if that confuses you to do that because you don't remember what to do when you multiply straight across with a multiplication sign in between, what we're doing, this is a property of equality here, and we're multiplying both sides by this denominator to get rid of that denominator, and then we're multiplying both sides by this denominator to get rid of that denominator, and we're ending up with this equation that's down here. If I multiply both sides by b to get rid of the denominator here, I'll end up with bc on the top there, and if I multiply both sides by d to get rid of this denominator, I'll end up with AD, and we have this equation then. So do not get confused with multiplying fractions and having proportions. They're not the same thing. All right. It's my only word of warning to you with this. So good luck, and I'll see you for the next video, which will be from 6.8. We'll start to talk about graphing points and lines, linear equations, and it would be helpful for you to have some graph paper to be ready for that. So we'll talk about that in our next video.